that was my assumption I made, but I was right. She's German, Welsh, and French, so she has a combination of that in there. So I kind of was spot on in that. I thought she was from the Midwest. Probably because I didn't see city in her. I saw more of a Midwest kind of a natural, comfortable way. She's from the Bay Area, so I was dead wrong there. So I can't, that was an assumption I made. It was like, okay, not there. I thought she liked the outdoors, and she does like the outdoors. So that was what I got for what does she do in her spare time. So that was kind of a good one. Her gift, I said scarf or something, just because she had the braided thing here that she seems like was something she'd be a little, not so much helping jewelry, but scarf. But she said she does want jewelry and like jewelry, so I was a little off there. School, public school was my assumption. Don't know why, just thought because the casual way that she is, and I assumed it was public school, and yet it was private and public. So, you know, those are, again, not all the traits of what we are raised in and do follows us. I mean, sometimes we get westernized or we acclimate to the area in which we presently are. I said she was kind of like an urban person from Berkeley, kind of close, Oakland, quiet neighborhood of Oakland, around the lake, Lake Merritt. And I thought she would open an arts and crafts type store, because she thought she'd be something with her hands. Now she's going to quit her job and travel and hit the beach. So I was a little bit off there. But by and large, some of the things were right, and some of the things now, I can now open, and now I'm visualizing and picturing her being a little more who she is, and letting her define who she is, even though I had assumptions about her.
So Lisa Marie, this is what, on this side, what I thought that she was. I guess that she was Latina, and I don't know if you identify as Latina, but she said Puerto Rican as her answer.
Right. Now, if I was going to be determined whether I was Latina or Hispanic, I probably fit more in the Hispanic for me, but I'm okay with being called Latina. That's, it seems to be, I'm not from Latin America, and I'm from the old school that feels Latinas are from Latin America, and I'm not, I'm more Caribbean. So I would say Hispanic, because I feel like it's more of a global, all inclusive, but there's nothing wrong with someone considering me Latina, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And I sometimes even said a Latina woman, because it's what other people identify with. So there's nothing different for me from one to the other. Go ahead.
I assumed that you grew up in the Bay Area. You're from Southern California, which is very different.
I didn't have that at all. I didn't have the Valley Girl talk.
I guess that you enjoyed spending time with your family, which might be true. You might be enjoying family time as you're dancing. You like to go to music events and art and cultural events.
Right, and it is with my family that I do that, so you're very right.
Okay. I guess that your nicest present would be a purse, like a really nice purse. And this was really different, and I wouldn't have guessed that she really likes gadgets and electronics. So
I'm an IT nerd in my head. A techie.
I guess that you have gone to a private grad school, which I guess was right, and then you went to a public undergrad.
Correct.
I thought you lived maybe here in urban environment, but you live in suburbia.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more quiet. And then I guess that you would take vacation, travel, and help your family, which I think some of that's true.
Right.
You want to help your family pay off mortgages and save for retirement, and then travel. I think is very wise.
Yeah. Very good. So if we see, both of us had things that we kind of hit, that we were spot on, and other things we kind of were a little bit off about. But it opened the dialogue, and I think that's, if anything, it's the most important part. Who wants to go next?
That's good.
Can we go for it?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to chart. You can talk if you like. That's okay.
I think I have not. I'm not sure that I like, because the only thing that American is from the Bay Area, and that he likes to volunteer in his spare time.
Okay.
So he was much richer in his imagination, and he was actually correct for a lot of it. So he just has a better imagination.
So tell me about Mark, and what's Mark's real quick? Tell me what you learned about Mark that you have.
Well, he's actually from Birmingham, and he really loves to travel.
Birmingham where?
Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah. Living south. He loves to travel.
When he said south, I guess more Atlanta, so I wasn't exactly on. When I said kind of school, I was just thinking about something called university that you actually talked about. University of Alabama and his graduate work in organizational psychology. And he lives in his city. And I think if he won the lottery, he would be even more shocked.
Good.
I had the opportunity to meet Chris. I said that I identified him as Chinese, which I was correct, Chinese American. We talked to Chinese American. And let's see, when it said, where did he grow up? I got that one right. I said either the northeast of the U.S. or Southern Cal. So just one of those two. So he was actually from the northeast. So what does this person do in his spare time? And that's where I said computer and tech. So that's where I got into my assumptions.
Right.
So that was where I was wrestling just because of stuff, you know.
Well, we didn't actually talk about this, but I do actually like tech, so that's.
Okay.
Okay. All right, good, good.
The ideal gift, I said, would be a new computer, latest gadget. And he said it'd actually be a good conversation, which I thought was really neat.
Oh, that's nice. Beautiful.
What kind of education? And I automatically thought PhD. And he said he had gone to a Jesuit school, and he's actually now currently studying.
I did finish it.
Finish here? Okay. Finished. And then describe the current neighborhood, and I said Berkeley casual. And he's actually from Albany, which is next door.
Close, yeah.
And then I said, what would this person do if he hit the $5 million lottery? I said he would buy an island. And he said he would invest, so that was our major difference.
Oh, you could say invest in an island.
Exactly.
But I really enjoyed meeting him.
Good job, you guys. Now, what did you find the one thing you would say I was spot on?
I would say for me it was just where he grew up. For some reason, he
Okay.
just looked as though, I said it was either the northeast or it was Southern Cal. Just
Right.
one of those. I didn't even know where he was.
Why the northeast?
I just felt made those assumptions.
I think Mark seemed really thoughtful to me, even though we didn't talk before we did it. And I didn't actually write that down because it wasn't a category for that. And
Yeah.
I think when I saw what he did for his graduate work, I saw something.
Yeah, falls into really, yeah. We tend to do that, we tend to be what we work. We are, it rubs off on us. Who wants to go next? Want to go? Okay.
So for Craig, I put I wasn't very specific, I just said white American. He's actually a European mix of Irish, Welsh, and Italian.
Okay.
Well, you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He's more specific. Where did he grow up? I wrote West Coast, California, East Bay. I was completely wrong. He's from New Jersey. And grew up in the suburbs, pretty close to New York. I guessed what he liked to do on his spare time was play guitar, read, listen to music, and go hiking. And he said all those were pretty accurate. He actually does play guitar, which was a random guess. I don't know why I wrote that, but it just seemed like his guitar player. For an ideal gift, I wrote a nice guitar, and he agreed with that, and said computer stuff and food or beer. Any one of those. For what type of school, I wrote college. I guess that he went to school on the West Coast. He actually went to a smaller school in New Jersey. For current neighborhood, I wrote suburbs, quiet, and a single home, and that was pretty accurate. He lives in San Leandro. For if he won $5 million, I wrote that he would travel and do charity work. And he said both those things would also get out of debt first. So,
Right.
Yeah, and with Alex, I had, for the first question about her ethnic group, and I stuck on ethnic. I didn't go with race. And I went with ethnic, so I said multi-ethnic mix.
What's
so
the
I
difference
figured.
between ethnic and race?
Well, I'm thinking about race as a social construct in like a American context in
Okay.
particular, or in particular communities where people are categorized in certain ways around arbitrary sort of like governmental sort of categorization.
Okay,
So-
give me an example.
So I'm thinking of like, you know, what we check off on the census.
What's her
every year.
race?
So I was guessing perhaps white. So,
Okay, and what would her ethnicity be then?
well, I thought multi-ethnic, because I didn't know what
Okay.
it was. So I was right. It was also
Yeah.
pretty so vague that I got, you
Right.
know, you couldn't miss. I think
By
it
being
would
so
work with
vague.
everybody in the room if I had said multi-ethnic mix. So based on those categories. So
Right,
when I'm
okay.
thinking of ethnicity, I'm thinking of stuff around, you know, family, geography, stuff you do on a Sunday.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So, yeah, so that's why I figured it was easiest just to say multi-ethnic things like that. So, I guess that Alex grew up in California. Again, I was trying to figure out something that would catch it without getting too specific. And yes, but Sonoma, more specifically.
Okay.
And I cheated on the next few questions because we had talked before we were invited to do this this particular exercise. So you know, what does Alex do in her spare time? And I thought, you know, hang out with her boyfriend and travel to exotic places like Hawaii.
I just got back from Hawaii.
Yeah.
She was talking about
The
that,
glowing
so-
tan maybe has something
Yeah.
to do with it.
So Alex said she also runs and likes to travel. Yeah, and work on her dream. So let's see, what kind of school? I thought, you know, public schools from primary to post-secondary, and I guess I was right.
I went to a private
Oh.
kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay, did not.
You broke out of the chains after that.
There you go. There you go.
Right on them.
And you know, I also cheated. She was talking about how crappy the weather was in San Francisco, so it was easy. But I didn't know it was a Lower Haight area near the Panhandle and pretty residential.
Okay.
You know, with $5 million, would do charity and travel the world, and I thought that she might take her family and her partner's family to vacation on some island somewhere. So,
Yeah.
so maybe too specific.
That was good. Very good. Okay, who wants to go next? Susie.
So what is this person's ethnic group? I put white and low.
Okay.
That's right. Where he grew up, I put it in the East Coast, but I was wrong. It's in California. What does this person do in her spare time? Reading movies, and that was fine. That was true. Plus hiking and dancing. And what would be the ideal gift for this person? And I put airport ticket to a dream destination, and she liked that. She agreed.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So, what kind of a school this person attend? I thought, so we talked about, I didn't understand that very well, but I thought of public and graduate level, and she did attend the public and the undergraduate and private in the graduate level. And the current neighborhood, I put suburban, and she lives in North Berkeley, so quite quiet stereotype. And with the 5 million lottery, I put traveling around the world and buying a place somewhere abroad. Which she liked that. But traveling was right, paying off her student loan was another priority. Buying a house in California first and abroad. Although we were thinking that after paying taxes, 5 million lottery.
Sounds like 2 million, maybe.
Might just be right. So this is Lena, everyone, and I think that my biggest surprise was that actually we were more similar both in our column A and column B than we thought, and that we were very similar in our answers. So that was kind of the biggest surprise, is like we both were a little shy at first, and we're like, oh, I probably got these all wrong, sorry. But then we were like, oh, actually, we kind of did that fairly well. So I guess that she was Latina, and that's how she identified herself. I thought she grew up in a small city with a close neighborhood and community. She did grow up in a small city in Colombia. And I thought she liked to dance, maybe because I do, so I projected that onto her. Whereas she said she likes to read, watch movies, and hike, and those are all things that she said about me, which are all true. So we shared those. And I said for her ideal gift, it would be a rented vacation home for her whole family, like a week somewhere. And she was thinking more of a trip to India or Cuba, or spend time on the beach. But she said yes, that vacation home sounds great.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought she went to a large public university, and I actually overheard that I know she's in a graduate program, so that was a little bit of a cheat. And she went to a private university and is in the mayor master's program. Right on with the suburban quiet apartment. And I thought she would like to travel with I think like a lot of people, and maybe donate to educational institutions. She said first and foremost she would pay for her son's education, then buy a home, and maybe travel the world.
Good job. And we have one last over here.
Well, my partner left, but we pretty much guessed each other